Welcome to this edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience. We're back up here at Club Teasers in Ogden. Johnny, what's that all about? What's going on?
Well, Mike, fighting does solve everything inside the cage of the Ultimate Combat Experience. These are the new UCE shirts that are going to be online. You can pick them up either at the gym or buy them online, but fighting does solve everything.
Got a rowdy crowd back here, Johnny Ritchie. They're from Iraq.
Iraq, yes.
They're here to see some fights.
Yeah.
Johnny. A pretty good night of fights on slate, though. We got guys coming from Wyoming, Colorado, Idaho, from all angles. Who are these guys?
Well, Mike, once again, it's just a rough and tumble group of guys. Heard about the UCE. They said, look, we want to make the trek down to Utah to step inside the cage and fight your toughest. So line them up, we'll knock them down.
We were happy to do just that. Johnny, we got a great night of fights. You want to strap yourselves in? It's the Ultimate Combat Experience coming right after.
Now, warriors of the ultimate fight, get in the ring for the ultimate flight. I say we warriors of the ultimate fight, get in the ring for the ultimate flight. I say we warriors of the ultimate fight, get in the ring for the ultimate flight. I say we warriors of the ultimate fight, get in the ring for the ultimate flight.
Relentless Ray Perales, coming all the way down from Idaho, wants to fight Utah's finest. Who's he fighting?
Well, Mike, not just Utah's finest. He wants to beat up on one school in particular, and that's Team Elite. He goes, look, man, always getting a win over an elite guy is awesome. I don't have one yet, but I will tonight after I pound on Lee Doss.
I kind of take exception to that. Hold on a minute here. You're gonna call out a whole gym like that?
Well, I don't think he's calling out the whole gym, Mike, but what he's saying is this. Elite, they put out a lot of top guys, so to get a victory over one of those guys means that you're at that level.
If you're calling them out, I'm sure they'll line them up to get you going. Lee Doss is leading the way, so let's get it going right here. Middleweight, no holds barred, check it out. Those are some awfully big words, especially to call out that camp. They got a lot of tough guys they can line up for you.
Oh, without a doubt, Mike, but that's just the kind of guy Ray Perales is. He only wants to fight the best guys, the toughest guys in any state, anywhere, from any gym.
It would be safe to say that he's relentless.
He's relentless about the fact that he does want to fight top-notch level.
He's a relentless smack talker. That's all I've heard.
I'm relentless from beginning to end. I bring it fast and hard. I keep a relentless pace. I like to ground and pound. I'm kind of disappointed because my opponent didn't want to go unified rules, stand striking. So I'm going to make some adjustments, maybe keep it on my feet and go for a quick knockout. Mentally and physically, my team are the core of my strength and balance. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Without me, they wouldn't be where they're at. That's kind of the way Twisted Gen X rolls. We're all together as one. I'd like to thank them, first of all, my sponsors, Relentless Fighter, Hooligan Fightwear, Nunya Fightwear, Pipit Fightwear. I can go on forever, Johnny. Lee Doss, any win against a Horn guy is great. I got nothing other to say than that.
That's a lot of different fight wears he's got going.
Several different, Mike. He's going to have a piece of clothing for each appendage.
Apparently, and it doesn't really seem like you need a lot of different appendages covered in this sport.
Well, Mike, you better cover appendage when Lee Doss is in here, especially your chin, because if he gets a chance to smack and knock you out, that's what he's going to do.
I'm a well-rounded fighter. I prefer to stand, but I'll take the fight where it needs to go. Expect to see some excitement. I do what I do, man. I train twice a day. I train with the best in the world, I think. Jeremy Horn, and we have the best fighters in the state at Elite. It's a battle every day. Can't get no better than that. That's why he hasn't got a win over a Horn guy yet. I'm gonna win this fight because I want it more. I want to shut up all the people on the internet who think that, quote, I don't deserve to wipe up the sweat from his corner.
Well, Johnny, obviously reading the internet can get under the skin of Lee Doss, and we've gotten under his skin before. We called him Whoopi Goldberg. He got mad.
Yeah, and then he came
comes
back
in with a panty on his head with those wires sticking out. Looks like Alien now.
Well, Mike, either way, the things we say they are fuel for the Lee Doss fire, and that guy will definitely get in the cage and let out all that aggression and all that frustration out of his opponent.
Baby, nice combination to start things off with. Landed 3 dots right on Perales' head.
Yeah, Mike, he did. But Ray Perales once again said, hey, I might want to take this thing to stay on my feet with this fight. I might want to stand up and box Lee Doss and look for that quick knockout. But Lee Doss is looking sharp.
He is sharp and accurate tonight. He's landed some leg shots and some nice shots to the head. Just got out of the way of that Superman punch with a nice counter shot to Ray Perales' face.
Well, now let's see what Ray does. He ties him up. He's got Lee Doss's back against the cage. And I wonder if he's going to be looking for a takedown. But if he doesn't do something quick, he's going to be eating those knees because Lee Doss is not afraid to throw him, Mike.
I'll tell you what, the last thing you want to do really is get into an elite fighter's head by, saying something about their team. Those guys are very emotional about that. They're very protective and very proud of their gym, and really you see they all want to come out almost like gangsters and get you anytime you say anything bad about them.
Well, the funny thing too is I think Ray feels the same way about his crew, Twisted Genetics. He said right there, hey, my team is where they're at because of me, and I'm where I'm at because of my team, and that says a lot. Both these guys are very team oriented, and even though it is an individual sport stepping into Mike, they really embrace the team concept.
Well, that's absolutely right. Now they're embracing each other and not doing a whole lot of fighting and a whole lot of hugging.
Yeah, well, you see, Ray Perales does have a double underhooks. Now let's see if he can swing this thing down and get himself a body lock and possibly get himself a takedown.
Or a date.
Or a date. Or either one, Mike, or a date.
Really lulling the action when this was a very energetic first 30 seconds of this fight. And look at Dave Sellistead. He's in a trance.
He's in a trance.
Right there. Finally attempted throw, and Lee Doss was waiting for that. He's so long, Johnny, it's very difficult to do a big throw like that.
Yeah, it is. But right there, Ray Perales, he's keeping a hold of one of those limbs and not see what he does with it. Is he going to look for a triangle choke, or is he just going to eat some shots?
Lee Doss right back at you. I'll hang on to one of your limbs and not let you get a triangle choke. Did a nice job of that. He is not able to stand and strike in this fight as at his request, so that was a position where maybe it might have worked against him.
Yeah, I think so, Mike. I think if he would have had the opportunity to use the unified rules, he could have stood up and really landed some big shots on Ray Perales. But
you see that elbow just missing Ray Perales. Those are the kind that cut you open to the point of that elbow, boy.
Well, now let's see what Ray does here, Mike. Let's see what kind of transitions he can do, whether it's a reversal or a near submission. But right there, I like to see that. Lee Doss says, I'm backing out, stand up. Let's finish this thing on our feet.
Yeah, if you got a loose guard, I'm not going to sit there and wait for you to climb up my body with it. I'm going to get out of there and get back up on our feet. Now, Ray Perales felt like he might have a bit of an advantage on their feet because he's a boxer and he's boxed over 50 amateur bouts, but he didn't know the fact that Lee Doss has had almost 100 amateur bouts, my understanding is.
Oh yeah, Lee Doss is slick on his feet, Mike. It's really weird the way Lee Doss fights MMA sometimes, because if he did just stay up on his feet and fight the game plan that he comes in there with, he'd knock out most of the guys he's fighting.
He's just getting to know himself in the cage. I think really early on he was making that transition to a different sport. It was difficult. That's going to call it close to the first round here, and I say Lee Doss pulling up a bit of an upset here. He's got control of round one. You see right there Ray Perales shaking his head. He's not happy about his performance.
Oh no, without a doubt, Mike. But if I know the Twisted Genetics crew, he'll go into this next round with his head.
We'll be right there with him when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you're just joining us, you missed a great first round between Lee Doss and Ray Perales. You see here in the Crush Combat Camp, Lee Doss was dotting old Ray Perales up in the early going, and then Ray wrapped him up. They went up in a hug fest on the ground.
Yeah, they went into the ground, Mike, looking for Ray Perales looking for near submission attempts. Lee Doss didn't want any part of that. Stood back up, and they finished the round on their feet.
Well, yeah, I guess you would venture to say that both men have their strategies and their game plans cut out for them at this point. Lee Doss wants to stand and trade. Look at those long arms and that boxing experience he has, and Ray Perales more than likely would like to take this to the ground, maybe set a takedown up with some strikes, but looks to go to the ground.
Yeah, Mike, well, I told you in the corner he was going to go over, I guarantee his cornerman went over a new strategy and said, hey, look, let's make this thing work for you instead of it working for Lee, because Lee came out, and I think he won that first round.
Oh, absolutely. And boy, you see there, Lee Doss's kicking is what has impressed me. He really didn't know how to kick when he started this game, and he's got very accurate inside leg kicks. He's landed 3 or 4 of them so far in this fight, and they were powerful ones to boot.
Yeah, they were, Mike, and he lands a pretty good shot right there on Ray, kind of rattled him a little bit, but now let's see what Ray can do to bounce back from that. Both these guys train very hard, Mike. This is their job. This is what they look forward to doing each and every week. That's stepping inside the cage and you know, testing their mettle and proving to everyone how tough they really are.
Well, surprisingly, it was Lee Doss that seemed to initiate this takedown attempt, and then Ray Perales was able to get underneath him, get underhooks. But Lee Doss should stay on his feet, circle, use the ring, and use those hands that he's done so well with thus far.
Yeah, Mike, and he has done a great job. You talked a little bit about his kicking and his knees. I mean, the first round, he threw a nice little combo, then followed through with the knee, and I like to see more of that out of Lee Doss.
There you see Ray Perales working the legs himself with some knees. Not real super strong shots, but you hit those in the right spot, and they can really cause some damage as the muscle seize up in the legs.
Well, Mike, you hear people talk about chess match in a fight, and this is what this is right here. It's one move capitalizing over another move, and these guys are going back and forth, trying to get a better position to where they can advance and maybe take his opponent down or separate and stay on their feet. So this is where it's not as action-packed, Mike, but these guys are, believe it or not, they're working hard.
No, there are themes going on here, and you got to kind of watch for them. But you know, I think the onus is on Ray Perales to do something here. Lee Doss is seemingly ahead by 1 round on the judges' scorecard, and once again, folks, that's a very unofficial scorecard, so it very well could be the other way around. But it would appear as though Ray Perales has to do something here to at least just draw even.
Well, now, Mike, he did have the double underhooks. Now he works his way down, looking for a double leg takedown. But hey, Lee Doss doing a great job, Mike, of stopping him, not letting him get that takedown as of yet.
He widened his base, and he's so long, as we mentioned earlier, it's difficult to do that. You can't really tell how long he is because he's camouflaged in the middle. Right there, big uppercut lands and drops Lee Doss to his butt, though.
Oh, Mike, right there, nice uppercut by Ray Perales. He set it up real nice, Mike. He had Lee Doss looking for the takedown. Lee Doss ducked his head. He popped him with a good one.
Man, that was a solid shot, and that can turn things around for you right there. You see the judges there ringside checking in and see if Lee Doss is still in pretty good condition or not.
Yeah, well, Lee Doss is doing a pretty good job, Mike, of keeping his defense. He's staying in nice and tight, not letting Ray Perales get the separation that he needs to throw those big strikes. But even from there, Ray Perales can drop elbows and end the fight.
Well, you know, we're going to draw to a conclusion here, round number 2, and that uppercut certainly would have to be the great equalizer here. And it's on my unofficial scorecard, a round apiece here between both these guys. Lee Doss dominated the first round and then just got caught with an uppercut right toward the end of the round that really seemed to tie things up.
Yeah, tight things up, Mike, and I think that, you know, the telltale is after the bell rang, Lee Doss popped right up, though, like, hey, it was no big deal, it was nothing, but still, it landed, and it made a difference.
It absolutely made a difference in a very uneventful second round. Something, just one shot can really give you that edge, and I certainly have to think that that happened in that case. Now, both these guys have a round apiece in their belts, and what are they going to do? Who wants it worse? Who's going to come out and earn it in the third round?
Well, and I hear Lee Doss's corner, you know, telling him to circle, don't get backed up against his fence, because I think it's almost inevitable. Ray Perales could do one of two things, either A, take you down, or get that big uppercut.
See,
but now Lee
took it to the ground. I think that was a mistake.
I think so. I think you're right, Mike. He's crowded against the cage. He doesn't have a lot of room to move and maneuver, and Ray Perales knows the cage all too well.
Is it a fatal error? Will only time will tell here, but really, maybe Lee Doss practiced guillotine in class too much today and wanted to force one on. I think that was a mistake on his part.
Well, Mike, he's underneath there. Ray Perales hasn't really done a whole lot. He is keeping busy, but he's not throwing any real powerful shots or elbows. And Lee Doss probably doing the right thing there, Mike, just keeping him covered up. Don't let him get that separation to land those strikes.
You see right there, Lee Doss is sponsored by the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club. Is he a regular there?
Oh, Mike, I wouldn't doubt it.
What's
It
the deal on
is
the
a few
sponsorship?
hours away, but I wouldn't doubt it.
2 extra lap dances per victory? I don't know.
Well, Mike, that's Ray Perales for you. It wouldn't surprise me one bit at all.
If he negotiated a deal like that?
Something like that. It's
yeah.
Ray, you know.
Yeah, that's Ray Perales.
His famous line was, "When I come to Utah, bishops lock up your daughters." That's what he told us.
And your fish.
And your animals, whatever.
Nothing going on here in the 3rd round, folks. And as we mentioned, Lee Doss seemingly took this fight to the ground when I think that might have been a tactical error. But you got to look at Dave Selye looking to stand these guys up here shortly if something doesn't happen. Yep. Ray Perales burying his head into the chest of Lee Doss and really not trying to separate and throw any shots or anything like that.
Yeah, Mike, with those shots not really counting for much, you know, I don't think it would be a bad idea for Dave to stand him up. You can see his footwork. Dave's getting antsy. He wants to either tackle someone or stop this fight. So don't give him a reason.
Lee Doss with looked like a feeble attempt at a triangle or something, climbing up the body, but really, when you're pressed up against the cage, that's so difficult to do. Yeah,
I was just gonna say, well, you know, you don't have the separation. You can't pull it off. There's no way to do it.
Well, some Gumby type guys can do it, but Lee Doss, I don't know if he's that guy. And you know, I think given some more experience, who knows? But Dave really has to stand these guys up. What's going on with Dave? Is he in a
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he sees him working. I think he sees him going back and forth, but they're not. They're just really jockeying for a position, and maybe they'll throw a punch, 1 or 2 right there, but. Really, Dave, stand him up.
One of the more experienced and finer referees in the state of Utah, certainly, if not the nation. But no, I don't mind telling Dave when I think he might be missing something. But I got to tell you, it's completely different when you're right there and you can feel those shots landing and you can hear those shots landing on each other than when you're sitting here and watching it on television.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, Mike, is they are keeping busy. There is movement. It's not like just they're laying on one another. Even though the shots aren't hard and solid and landing, but there it goes. That's it. End of 3rd round.
That's into the 3rd round, and just because Ray Perales was on top, you got to assume a judge is going to consider that. When a round is that close, I would hate to see somebody call this a draw simply because you got to take a side one way or the other. Yeah. This is a fight, though, I think you could have called a draw. Let's listen to what the judge had to say.
29-28. Judge number 2 scores it 30-27, and judge number 3 scores it 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, fighting out of the red corner.
Well, gosh, Johnny Ritchie, you know, I mean, you can see the fight going that way, but I saw some 30-27 judges' scores, and I just don't agree with that.
No, I do not either, Mike. I don't agree with that either. Ray Perales, I think maybe did pull it out in the 2nd and 3rd round, but I do think, man, Lee Doss.
He got away with one there.
He got away with one.
This post-fight interview brought to you by Ayers Law Firm in the DUI hotline. Give Tyler a call at 255-5555 or check him out online at utahduihotline.com.
What's next for you, Lee Doss, man? What can we expect out of you, bro?
I'll be back next week, man. If you give me a fight, I'm fighting next week.
Lee, I know we can count on you for that. Hey, man, I know you want to thank your sponsors. Now's your time.
I just want to thank everybody that came and checked me out, my brother, my girl, everybody. Thank my sponsors, Who Your Daddy, and thank Ray for giving me a good fight.
Well, that says it all right there, Ray. I'll tell you right now, Ray Perales is a tough kid, Lee. You got in here, did it, man. Tonight you were good, bro, but just not good enough. Thanks for being a part of the experience, man.
Thank you.
This post-fight interview is sponsored by Beehive Bell Bonds, because sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Relentless Ray, it's good to have you back down here. How does it feel coming getting a big win tonight?
I love Utah. I love all the fans. You guys have such a support system here. It's great to come out of state and not be known by everybody being on you guys' TV and still have a fan support.
Right, you're known here. You're part of the UCE family. I mean, you've been around long enough. You've fought here enough times that you're part of the crew down here. So we like having you come down here. We'd love to have you come down here a little more often. It's good to have you out here.
You know, on the way down, I was telling these guys about the story when I fought in the very first UCE. When I fought Daniel Lopez from Shamrock 2000 team. It was my first pro fight. I fought 15 minutes straight to a unanimous decision. The night before I fought, me and Dustin Moe and the rest of Team Idaho decided to go out and have some fun. And I still pulled through and won that fight. It was just a comical story.
It is. I was going to tell you, we go back a long way, Ray, and really that bringing back some memories. That's 7 years ago. But hey, it's good to have you here, and we hope in 7 years we're still chatting with you over here.
Me too. One thing I want to say, you know, I always have a catch saying every fight, and my newest one is bishops hide your daughter, bartenders pour the Jaeger.
I guess we'll leave it at that. Great job tonight.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me, Mike.
With Ray in town, they had to hide their sons too, right?
Either or, Mike. All I'm telling you, Ray Perales is a great fighter.
They should hide their goldfish with Ray Perales in town.
Whatever you've got, lock it up. Relentless is in the house. Well, Mike, he fought a hell of a fight against Lee Doss tonight. It was a 3-round war. Lee Doss finally letting those things go, Mike, and it was good.
I'm telling you, I think Lee Doss did himself well tonight. I mean, that's a tough kid, and he hung with him for 3 rounds. He's got nothing to hang his head about.
Well, and one of the times talking to Lee Doss, he goes, I fight to how my fighter fights. And you saw right there, Ray Perales, man, there's no better guy on their feet than Ray. Ray will lock you up and pound you from his feet, and it was just a great war between those two tonight, Mike.
We got more wars. Don't go anywhere.
I couldn't believe how much I was paying for health insurance before, but Mega specializes in affordable health insurance for families and for people like me who don't get health insurance where we work.
Stop struggling to figure out how you can get affordable health insurance. If you're one of 45 million Americans without it, call the number on your screen right now to get affordable health insurance with the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company.
I was struggling to find affordable health insurance for my family. What appealed to me about Mega is that I could tailor a plan that fit our needs, as well as our budget.
I'm responsible for providing health insurance for my family. I work hard and I deserve a company that works hard for me. Mega, they saved me time and money. They got the coverage I needed at the price I could afford.
Mega has been America's solution for affordable health insurance for over 20 years. To get a plan that's tailored to fit your needs, call the number on the screen right now.
Do what we did. Call today.
In your lightweight division, we got a fight that promises to be a slugfest, Johnny Ritchie. Who are these two?
Well, you got Chris Chronic Lee, the most nervous guy in the fight game, but a guy that always steps in the cage and puts on an excellent performance for the UCE. His opponent, Mike, is a really tough kid himself. It's Kevin the Predator Allred. Guy trained Ultimate Combat Training Center. He's got good submissions, good slams, and one tough kid all the way around.
I think these guys are very well matched. It's going to be a slugfest, I guarantee it. Lightweight, no holds barred. Check it out. I say it's going to be a slugfest because both these guys love to stand and trade bombs, and I think they're very, very evenly matched, Johnny.
Oh, I think you're right, Mike. I think Kevin the Predator already has stepped in here and done what he said what he says he's going to do every time he fights, and that's, hey, I want to stand up, I want to bang. If I need to go to the ground, I will. I'm good at submissions enough that I can pull off a victory from my back.
Goes by the nickname of the Predator, training out of UCTC in West Valley.
I'm better at pretty much just adjusting to what the other guy is doing and turning his game into my game, really. Train all the time. I train, get hit, get used to getting hit. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just ready to go. I lost last weekend, and this weekend, well, losing last weekend's kind of like a raise. I got a pretty good opponent, and this weekend I've been waiting to fight Chris Lee for a long time. So it's time to do this, and I'm gonna come out with a hand raise.
You know, it says that you're kind of getting there when people have been looking forward to fight you, because Chris Lee, if you meet him, you'd never peg him as a fighter, and you certainly would never peg him to be as good as he is. Yeah. And now he's that good that people actually have a bullseye out for him.
Well, stand at the Sug Mag, but his submission game is getting better. He's training over there with those guys over at the West Side, and he's looking good every time he fights.
I just want to fight and just put up a good fight for the fans. I've just been trying to train. Mentally's not quite. It's good, but I don't know. We'll see. You can talk a lot of talk, you know, but I'm just ready to fight. I did no comment. I just hope I put a good fight up, you know, and not give up. I just want a good fight. So.
He's been working on his interviews. He's been studying a little bit. He now has that no comment thing.
He has, Mike, and I think that's probably the best thing, because one of the questions is say something about your opponent. Let him know why you're going to win. Tell us why you're going to beat him. No comment.
Got no comment. He's been watching the political debates.
That's right, he has.
George Bush, why do you enter that country and kill people? No comment.
No comment, yeah.
I'd like to not comment on that. Well, furious action to start things off here, and exactly what we expected. Both these guys come out winging for the fences. Now they're in a tie-up position, and they're not stopping and hugging. They're kicking and kneeing.
No, you're right, Mike. But right here, Chris Lee, he's looking for that possible guillotine choke. If you duck your head like that, he's going to grab a hold of it, and he might just get it on you.
But he transitions right out of it and get into the tie-up and trying to stop Kevin Allred from being able to knee his body like he is, and doing a pretty good job of it. But if you stay busy, eventually you're going to get a takedown or a knockdown, and right there, a nice combo.
Yeah, nice combination right there. One thing I like about Kevin is, Mike, he told us, I've got to really set the pace in this fight. I've got to go in. I'm not going to rope it up. I'm just going to get in there. I'm going to charge to Chris Lee, and I'm going to bring this fight to him. And he's done exactly what he said he was going to do.
Absolutely. And he did fight last week, fight a very tough opponent, Pat Reeves. And the first thing Monday morning, what was he doing? He was in here saying, you got to give me another fight. I don't like sitting at home with a loss under my record. I've got to fix it. So I like the attitude.
You got to love it, Mike. Chris Lee, though, on the other hand, he's only tasted defeat once inside this cage. That was at the hands of Robert Sticks and Stones Miller. But
great action, Johnny.
Great action, back and forth.
These guys are just getting after it. And boy, it's hard to call a fight like this, but the fans are certainly not upset about all the action.
No, they're not, Mike. And it's kind of funny because they'll tie up and they'll separate. They'll throw 5 or 6 punches. They'll tie up. You'll see, Kevin working his underhooks, and then they'll separate and throw a couple more punches, and that's what I like to see.
Well, Kevin has won the battle of position, in my opinion. He's either had a Muay Thai clinch or an underhooks most of the time here, and he's been fairly busy. I think he is winning this round, but not by a very large margin.
Well, I think too, Mike, if this whole fight was based on their feet being pressed against the cage, you're going to look to the guy that's controlling, and right there, you talked about it. Kevin has got Chris pressed against the cage pretty much the majority of this whole fight.
He certainly has, and Chris Lee's showing a little frustration on his face, it might seem. He's not used to this. He's used to throwing bombs like that. Good exchange once again. Both these guys landing big shots.
Yeah, they separated right there, and then it looks like the Predator landed a pretty good shot and woke Chris Lee up a little bit. Now Chris Lee gets Kevin against the cage. Let's see if he can hold him here.
Boy, these guys are they certainly tested each other's chin. There's no doubt about it. Both these guys can take a shot and give a shot.
Yeah, they can. Like the punches are coming from all directions, over the top, from underneath, and they're not really doing a good job of setting things up. They're just swinging for the fences, Mike.
I'll tell you what, the fans have been treated to some pretty good fights tonight. If you're looking for action, if you're looking for a tactical chess matches, you've seen it both here, and you've seen both these guys were very matched up in both their fights.
Well, once again, back and forth battle, Mike. Whether it's Chris Lee against but now this is what Chris is good at. He'll do this, and he'll get this.
He doesn't have the hips secured. He's trying to get his guard a little bit tighter. But boy, Johnny Ritchie with 1 second left, I think Kevin is going to dodge a bullet here. Now this is where it becomes very difficult to score a round. You got a kid who finishes the round with a near submission, but really was getting beat for the most of that first round. It's going to be a tough one to score.
Yeah, tough one to score right there, Mike. But either way, the action was there. That's what the people tune in to see, is these guys mixing it up and getting after it. And myself, I just feel glad to be able to watch that first round.
That was a fun round. There's no doubt about it. These guys, hopefully round 2 is going to be half that exciting. Keep in mind, folks, these guys laid it out there for the whole round in the first.
No!
Going to be a little tired and might get a little sloppy, as we saw right there.
Yeah, he went to throw a kick, but at the same time, Chris Lee threw a punch and hit him right on the chin, knocked him on his butt.
Slipped right on Mark Marine's face there.
Kick the dealer, not the tires,
yeah,
Mike.
Kick the opponent, not the logo.
Not the canvas, yeah, not the logo. Now they wind up. They wind up on their. Chris Lee's on his back now with Kevin Allred in between. Let's see what he does here. Let's see if Chris Lee can pull off the submission.
This is where he's in trouble. Right here, he's got an arm lock on, and that's on pretty tight. Got to curl those legs.
He's getting it, Mike. Chris Lee knows how to submit. Well, right there.
Kevin Allred dodges another near submission bullet there. And that, he's got to overcome that now. It's in a round where you're on top of your opponent. You got to do something while you're there.
Yeah. Well, now let's see, Mike. In the last fight, Lee Doss they were both those guys were working hard. It looks like in this one, there's not really a whole lot of punches going on from this position. Oh,
not a lot of punches, and that'll typically happen if your opponent is making sub attempts. And Chris Lee has been doing that. He's got to keep Kevin Allred on his toes just a little bit. You can't just leave things out there. You can't throw wild punches because you might lose an arm.
Yeah, you might lose it. Absolutely. So now what is he going to do? Is he going to stay tucked in? Is he going to stay nice and tight? Or is he going to separate and look to strike? Or is he going to use this fence? The fence is in his advantage in the ground.
See a little cut forming under the eye of Chris Lee, Johnny Ritchie. Right there, Kevin Allred saw it as well and landed a couple shots to it. Blood starting to pour out of there, and that's a bad spot for a cut, especially on the ground.
Oh, yeah, it is, Mike. It is. Head wounds bleed the most out of any other place that you could get cut. So if you see a lot of blood, it's just because it's on the head, and that's that.
More than any other place?
More than any other.
What about your aorta?
Well, probably not there. You're probably just a little cut, Mike. I'm talking fight-wise. You don't see too many aortas getting popped open in an NHB match.
Just never know, man.
You never know.
Yeah, I heard Lee Doss can do that stuff.
Oh yeah, can
Hit
he?
You so hard it'll pop your aorta.
Oh, Mike, it's ridiculous.
It's rumor, I know. I heard it. I did hear it. And right here, now you see the chess match has changed to Kevin Allred wanting to punch that cut under Chris Lee's eye, and Chris Lee trying to stay off the fence and work up the body. But right now, Kevin Allred's doing a great job of keeping Chris Lee pressed up against the cage, and that's what's stopping him from really getting any solid sub attempts off.
Well, and he's doing a great job of listening to his corner, man, because that's what they've said. They said, hey, just keep him pressed there. Don't let him get that separation, because if you do, he's going to land submissions. In fact, I think the majority of Chris Lee's wins, Mike, are from submissions, right. Whether it's armbar, guillotine, a rear naked choke. He's defeated most of the guys by
Kevin Allred's corner, obviously, very wise. They know a lot about the fight game and really giving him all the best advice.
Oh, all the best advice he could get, Mike. And I know I recognize a couple people in that corner, but yeah, he does definitely have a good set of guys over there helping him out.
It would be fair to call them masters of the game of MMA. They really seem to know what they're talking about, those guys.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm saying they're pretty dang knowledgeable.
Apprentice masters?
Apprentice masters.
Oh, those guys are good. That's all I know. Right there, you see Kevin Allred being a good sport, helping Chris Lee off the mat. And really, I think these guys have had to have developed a lot of admiration for one another. They've been in there and really been letting it all hang out. You see there, the master of MMA giving a little advice to Kevin Allred and a little water to boot.
A little water to boot on my
Go grab yourself a water. We got round 3 when we come back.
Half of all U.S. businesses are home-based.
This free service helped me find the perfect home business.
Their free success kit made it simple. All you need is a computer and a little desire.
I'm making $10,000 a month.
I work only 3 days a week and make $9,000 a month.
We're making $12,000 a month.
And we have more family time.
Be a part of this $427 billion industry.
I made enough money from my home business to buy a new home.
Your successful home-based business is just a click away. So log on to 214hbb.com. So you've got the hottest cell phone, now you need the hottest games and ringtones. Get the latest games and ringtones to use on your personal cell phone right now. Text S51 for Super Mario Brothers. Text A51 for Sweet Home Alabama. Text G51 for Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Or text W51 for Diner Dash. And send it to 77888. Choose from any of these great games and ringtones to use as your very own. And don't forget to text your choice to 77888.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you're just joining us, take a look at our Crush Combat Camp, folks. We're not speeding this up. These guys were fast and furious action from start to finish in rounds 1 and 2 so far.
Oh yeah, Mike, they came out with something to prove. Both these guys landing big shots, working for position, pinning each other against the cage, and really landing the strikes that count, Mike. And that's what people tune in to see, is that kind of stuff right there.
The big difference here is the swelling and the cut underneath the eye of Chris Lee. Kevin Allred obviously noticed it and kept going after it, and really I think that's what's going to be the big difference in this round. If he can capitalize on continuing to do damage to it or not.
Well, yeah, Mike, he's just got to come out, press that action, just like he said he was going to do. Come out right there. you know, he initiates a takedown. Chris Lee jumps up, possibly looking for a guillotine choke. But now look at Kevin Allred working. He's going to work him right up to the fence and work that ground and pound as he's done for the last 2 rounds.
Boy, what fatigue will do to you, because Kevin Allred said he wanted to come in here and stand and bang with somebody, but you look tired and you change your game plan quite a bit. And he did do the wise thing. He scooted him right over to the cage and keeps him pressed up right against her. Good move.
Yeah, right over to his corner, Mike. But you know what? I think he's been, in my eyes, winning because of the fact that he has put the pressure on to put him against the cage, and he figured, hey, you know what, I did it all that second round, why not do it again? Get him on his back and look for that cut and end this fight.
And when you've got the master of MMA in your corner, that's where you want to be. So strategically, very good move.
Now let's see what the master could do. What's he gonna tell him to do? Mike?
He's far wiser than I could never predict what this wily old master would do. I could never predict that.
Well, I'm going to predict this. He's going to say, keep it there, throw the shots, end the fight.
You see right there a lot of blood in Chris Lee's eye, and really I think that's the difference, Johnny. You see he went for a submission right there, but it's hard to do when you can't see your opponent. You're just feeling things at this point.
Yeah, well, and Kevin doing a pretty good job of fighting off that armbar attempt. He felt it coming, did the right things to get out around it, and now he winds up back in this position, landing strikes and doing a little ground and pound.
And wisely, he feels his opponent, Chris Lee, climbing up his body, and he turns him right back into the cage where, boy, it just makes it difficult to do that when you're pressed up like an accordion.
Yeah, well, yeah. Once again, you can't get that separation. You can't. You talked about maybe possibly a Gumby guy being able to do it.
Gonna step in and stop him. My goodness, Dave is awake.
Dave is awake. Yeah. Well, Mike, there wasn't a whole lot going on there.
Well, Dave's in there and got him back up on her feet, and right there, a miss by Chris Lee is gonna put him right back in the same position he was just in, and you see the dejection on his face. He's just so disappointed right there. He finds himself right back in a spot that he's just virtually been worthless in.
Yeah, well, and how about Kevin Allred, Mike, having enough ring sense and hey, you know what? Right when I get you, I'm going to whip you around, I'm going to put you against that cage, and I'm going to throw the shot.
Somebody must have told him to do that.
Yeah, I think it was that corner man of his. It's, what'd you call him, Matt? A Jedi. Like a Jedi Knight, right?
I like that, yes. Oh, wow. Kind of looks like a Jedi over there as well.
Kind of does, Mike. Where's the cloak?
Look how poised and composed he is.
Well, he wants to fight. That's clear. That's clear.
Interesting match here, you know, and I really, honestly, I really hate to see Chris Lee lose fights. He's such a good guy, but I really think that, you know, he has lost this fight, Johnny, unless something happens here in the closing minutes, in the closing seconds of the round. Boy, Kevin Allred did exactly what he had to do.
Well, I think you're right, Mike. And no, I'm not sure what to say to a guy that's lost, and he's just nervous. And it was such a good fight.
He's nervous when he wins.
I don't know, what's he gonna say? What's gonna happen? Who knows?
Such a good guy, though. Class act, really good fight. I want to say to the folks at home, you were treated to a great match tonight. Those guys really got after it, and really there are no winners or no losers here.
Well, Mike, great fight and great sportsman. This is what the sport is all about, Mike. You know, these guys have a lot of admiration for one another. They know how tough one another is, and so that's great to see that sportsmanship and those guys.
And you see them sit down on the benches. They both are just fatigued. Let's listen to what the judges say.
Judge number 2 scores about 29-28. And judge number 3 scores about 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision.
Well, it's a unanimous decision there, Johnny Ritchie. I don't think you can argue about that. It was close, but it was unanimous in my opinion. It was just slightly won 2 of the 3 rounds. Great job, the Predator, Kevin Allred.
Kevin, good job, man. I'd like to see a rematch out of this fight, Mike. It'd be good to see.
Go to markmarine.com or call Marine Credit Systems 467-9980.
Chris, you got in a fight tonight, man. I want to know how you're feeling right now, brother.
I feel pretty tired. Damn conditioning. I got a mean ground and pound.
No, that's it, ground and pound. And we know that you're training over there at Westside. You're training hard.
My legs, man, I could have...
Tough kid.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, so are you, man. And I know this won't be the last time we see you, you know. And we can always tell who the true champions are by when they get their loss. Do they come back or do they go into retirement? Chris, I know you're going to come back and do this thing again, man. What's next for you, brother?
I hope to keep training. We'll try to make that.
Try to make that happen. All right, brother. I gotta say it to you, man. Chris, tonight you were good, brother, but it's not good enough. Is there anyone you need to thank out there?
Just Westside Jiu Jitsu and the Zen Head Shop.
All right, well, there you go. Thanks for being a part.
And thanks.
Oh, you got it. Thanks for being a part of the experience, Chris.
This post-fight interview sponsored by Beehive Bell Bonds, because sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Kevin Allred, big win for you. How does it feel?
Man, I just got to say thanks to Chris. Man, I've wanted to fight Chris since the first time I fought, and this was how I wanted it to go. I didn't want to put him out in the first round. I wanted him to take me to the third.
He did that, and this is it's got to feel good to come back, get a little vindication after your last visit to the cage up here in Ogden. Come out here a much more impressive win.
I don't remember that one. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. Who remembers it? Who cares about it? You're on the winning streak now, and let's keep it going that way.
Let's do that, and I want to thank my wife.
She was your corner tonight.
She was my corner tonight. She's going to be my corner the next night. I want to thank my buddies up here. Aaron's been to every single fight of mine. I also want to thank my tattoo guy, Mad Jack. His name's Dave. He's done a lot of my work. He's got 8 hours on me. He's got my wife. Lots of my friends are going to him. He's not here tonight because he got in an accident. He's going to be at my next fight. Anybody that wants some work done and wants it for a really good deal and a kick-ass guy, come see me after the fight.
Right on, brother. Great job tonight, Kevin. Great job.
Thanks, Mike.
It's one of those times when you're just conflicted, because Chris Lee, man, I love that kid. Kevin Allred training at my gym. It was a tough night for me.
It was a tough night for you, Mike, and it was a tough night for both those guys. You heard Kevin say, I wanted to go into the third round, and they did that, and it wasn't like it was a lazy fight. They were up, they were down. It was submission attempts. That was a great fight, Mike, for these lightweights.
It was, and you see, again, this lightweight division, a lot of parity in there. Really good stuff. We got more of the Ultimate Combat. Don't go anywhere. A kid named Oliver Bradstreet's hanging out over here.
Yeah.
What brings him out to the fight, you ask? Because there was a kid that damn near kicked his butt up in Idaho, or in Wyoming rather, and he's back. Nick Mamalis. Who's he fighting?
Yeah, Nick Mamalis stepping in the cage against Slamming Dan Barry. You know, Dan Barry told me this. Hey, I've always wanted to just fight Ollie. I just really, but if I can't beat Ollie up, I'm going to beat up the second best, and that's Nick Mamalis, so I'm going after him tonight.
Oh, baby. Featherweight, no holds barred. Check it out. Well, if you ever walk by the pet store at the mall and you see those little puppies that are all happy, that's what Ollie looked like.
I know, right there.
They're all spiked up, ready to come out and lick you.
Well, he knows he's going to have to fight one of these guys in the near future, Mike. If they stay on the track they're on, whether it's Simon Danbury or Nick Mamalis, either way, one of these guys are both pretty tough.
Johnny, in this show, both these guys are going to get a shot at him, and probably sooner than later.
Well, let's hope so.
I'm mainly a wrestling background, stick to wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Been training a lot and trying to mold into a little bit more of a stand-up and well-rounded fighter. I used to have a lot of bad habits and things I would do all day. Now I pretty much just relax and show up and just go about my job. The reason I'm walking out here as a victory is I heard he fought Oliver Bradstreet and gave him a war, and they won't let me fight Oliver, so I'm going to fight the next best thing. So.
Johnny, I really like Danbury's attitude. He just wants to fight. He'll fight. He wants to fight the best. Nick Mamalis is one of the best.
Yeah, Nick the Fist, Mike. Solid wrestler, great competitor. His jiu-jitsu game is on, and he likes to knock people out, so he's the whole package.
Exciting, huh? Ground and pound style, just guns blazing. I work out 6 days a week with a bunch of friends, practice bigger people all day. That's about it, huh? Well, I already fought Oliver. Obviously, you can't get a fight with him, so there you go.
Well, Johnny, I'll never forget the first time I met this kid. We were up in Wyoming, and people introduced me to him as this guy was really tough. And, I met him, and I was like, well, stature-wise, he doesn't look so tough. He's got fire in his eyes, so you can see he's a fighter, no doubt about it.
Well, him and Ollie went their rounds, Mike. Ollie was expecting to go in there and have a cakewalk, and he walked into Mamalis, and let me tell you something, Ollie had to work for that win.
Boy, did you see how slick that was? Mamalis just stepped right underneath. Oh, it just stepped underneath a shot, and just got in a nice takedown. Beautiful work there, and Danbury climbing up the body, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, Danbury, this is it. We can see it right here now. If Danbury gets this, and a big slam by Mamalis. That's what you got to do.
How strong is that Mamalis kid, Johnny? He just picked him right up and slammed him back down.
Well, then Danbury right there gets himself a little slam in the action, returns the favor.
No doubt about it right here. These guys are really getting after it, Johnny, and this whole show has been action from start to finish. It's been great fights.
Well, it's been great fights, Mike, whether it was the big dogs or the little guys right here. They're in here to mix it up, and these guys are going to forward. It's just they're relentless, Mike. There's no slow in their pace here.
So much action. Johnny's fumbling over his words. He's so excited.
Over here.
Telling you what, right here, folks, again, if you're not really astute about the MMA game, there's a lot going on here. You see Mamalis got a really nice tight guard here, and it seems to be frustrating Danbury.
Well, yeah, Mike. Well, Danbury's trying to get separation. You saw him throw the knee right up the butt there.
Beautiful elbow shot.
Nice elbow shot. But I want to see if Danbury can get this separation here, Mike, and throw those big punches.
You see right there, Mamalis threw that elbow shot and immediately started trying to climb up the body. That was more of a setup to this right here, Johnny.
Well, this is
looking for a triangle choke, and Johnny, I think he's got it.
Yeah, Mike, if he can lock this thing on right there, Dan trying to pick him up, and he's doing a pretty good job of hooking the leg.
Oh, this is good stuff.
He's pulling it in. He's going to sink it in and get it on just a little bit tighter here, Mike.
Johnny, it's over, buddy. This fight
we could very well see it.
Is over. Telling you, it's on tight.
Well, Danbury's going to do one of two things, Mike, and that's either tap or pick him up and slam him, because that's what Simon Danbury does.
And he's doing the right thing there, too. He's trying to punch his way out of it. But it seemed like now it's tight, Johnny.
He made the proper adjustment. Well, there's the slam right there. But it looked like Mamalis may have had a hold of the cage to prevent him from the slam there, Mike.
Well,
I'm not sure what happened.
He may have, but neither here nor there, because Mamalis comes away with a big win. That was a very well-executed triangle choke, and he really had an answer for all of Danbury's defenses there. Really a big win and great job.
Well, you can see Dan is upset, Mike. That's not how he wants to walk out of the cage with the loss, and especially to something like that. But I'm not sure. I'm going to have to watch the replay, Mike, and see what happened there. But either way, it looks like Nick Mamalis gets himself a victory.
I think Nick's got on the tight white shorts, and Johnny has a hard time talking when guys in tight white shorts.
I don't know what to say, Mike. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Great win, Big Nick.
Good job, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you again soon against the Menace.
This post-fight interview brought to you by Ayers Law Firm and the DUI Hotline. Give Tyler a call at 255-5555 or check him out online at utahduihotline.com. Slammin' Danbury, man, I know you're disappointed, man, and I always hate interviewing you when you had a tough fight like that and you were getting at it and then you got caught. You know, that's Nick Mamalis. That's a tough kid right there. Throws that triangle on right when he needed to, and he gets a tap out of you, Dan. But I want to know, man, how you feeling right now? What was the deciding factor in that fight? What changed it for you?
Once he locked in that second triangle, that's what ended it. Well, I got my next paycheck, saying he can't do it again, so.
All right, I like that attitude, and I think Nick Mamalis is the kind of guy that would love to come back and fight in Utah as long as we can find him fights. That's a tough kid right there, Danbury. You've been to the top. You know what it's like to fight the toughest. And tell me how that kid was fairly tough, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's tough. He shot that shot in way deep. There's no way I was getting away.
No, he's a phenomenal wrestler. You know, like we said, we saw him fight Ollie Bradstreet, and man, it was a war between those guys. Danbury, you came out hard. It didn't end up the way you wanted it to, man. What's next for Slammin' Danbury?
Back to the El Gimnasio and see what goes on from there.
All right, Dan. Well, I'll tell you right now, brother, we're always proud to have you come step inside the cage. I know we can always count on Slammin' Danbury. Hey, man, tonight you were good, brother, but just not good enough. Is there anyone you need to thank out there?
I need to thank Fusion Gym down in St. George and Aaron Reese, my coach.
All right there, brother. Dan, I just want to say thanks for being a part of the experience tonight in this main event. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
This post-fight interview sponsored by Beehive Bell Bonds, because sometimes bad things happen to good people.
All right, Nick Mamalis, finally we got you here. Did I say it right?
You did.
We finally got you here. We've been trying to get you here for a little while, ever since you beat up on Oliver Bradstreet for 3 hours. He's over there complaining about it. Hey, big win for you now. How's it feel?
Feels good, man.
You gonna come back and fight Ollie again?
Yeah, as soon as you guys are ready.
You'll fight Ollie right now, right?
Yeah.
Get him out of there, man. Hey, I gotta tell you, Nick, I'm impressed with you. I'm a big Nick Mamalis fan, and it's great having you here. I can't wait to have you come back and do it again. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just everyone who came up from Wyoming. Thanks a lot, guys.
Right on, come back and do it again, bro. Doesn't have much to say, Johnny, but that's a cool cat right there.
Oh yeah, Mike, without a doubt. You know, that's the kind of kid that I think if he lived a little closer, he'd fight for us whenever we called him too. And I think you're going to see a lot of big things out of Nick Mamalis if he sticks around and continues to fight for UCE.
I hope he beats up Ollie right now. Over there, Ollie chirping in his ear.
It could very well happen. I heard Ollie say, as soon as I quit, I'll get back in the cage with you. And I go, that's
as he goes like this. What are you going to do?
But Ollie Bradstreet, tough kid too. But Nick Mamalis, I think that's a fight that we'll all be anticipating in the future inside this cage.
Good night of fights, though, Johnny. Very competitive night of fights all around.
Oh, without a doubt, Mike, all around. It was good to see the guys come in here and have a great time. Like Ollie gets in here and he just had a blast. And then, you know, your main event was not a 3-round war, but it was fast and furious until the tap, and you got to love a fight like that.
We had a lot of good stuff tonight. Johnny Ritchie, good night of fights. We'll see you next week in Tooele. See you next week in Tooele. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week on the Ultimate Combat Experience.